mormonscoaching.com. I'm a life coach who helps Mormons deal with their mixed faith marriage because of a faith transition. It's a little noisy in my house today because we have some contractors here, so ignore any background noise, please. What I want to talk about today is perhaps one of the most common things I see with my clients as they deal with a mixed faith marriage, and that is learning how to be okay with our spouse's emotions. And think about that and you're like, okay, what does that mean? Think about it this way. Can you be okay with their disappointment? Can you be okay with their frustration, with their hurt, with their sadness? Being okay with another person's emotions is a skill beyond all skills. This is a really big deal. And so it's an important question to ask yourself. We'll talk more about why, but it's a really important question to ask yourself. Can you be okay with your spouse's disappointment, frustration, sadness, whatever? So this comes up in many ways. And I want to give you a few ways where you may be very well thinking this without realizing you're thinking this. If you're telling yourself things like, I can't hurt them like this. They'll be so hurt if they knew. This will make them so sad. This will shatter their dreams. These are all tells that you are probably trying to manage their emotions and that you're not fundamentally okay with their emotional experience of life. So like I said, so many people I coach struggle with this. They really don't want their spouse to experience sadness or disappointment around their faith transition or around their mixed faith marriage status. And this is the irony, and this is why it's so important, because this is often one of the number one reasons those of us experiencing a faith transition don't share openly our experience with our spouse, that we're not completely transparent and honest about it. It's because we don't want them to be sad. And we think not telling them is going to prevent their sadness. We don't want them to be disappointed or afraid or just plain uncomfortable. We think they don't know how to handle their own emotions. Perhaps that's part of it. So let me tell you this. One of the most important things you can learn is you cannot manage your spouse's emotions. You can't manage anybody's emotions but your own. You can't control, you can't manage. It just doesn't work, not ever. Now, I know sometimes it appears that way. It's a coincidence. Trust me on this. They have complete autonomy over their own emotions. We do not. Other people always get to choose their own emotions. Your actions, your decisions, the words you say don't cause their emotions. Now, hear me, it may influence them, it may persuade them, but it does not cause their emotions. When you fall into this common trap of really thinking your actions cause your spouse's emotions, it really causes you to need to control them. Then you're blaming yourself when they're having an emotional response. So think about the faith transition. If they're really sad about the faith transition, about the mixed faith marriage, and now it's your fault because maybe you were the one going through the faith transition, there's the blame, right? Now you think change or be different in order for them to not be sad. So then you try to do all sorts of things to help them not be sad. This is where it gets so messed up, because ultimately the false belief here is that you cause their sadness and that you can cause their unsadness or their happiness. And that's just not how it works. When you can learn and you're able to start taking responsibility for your own emotions and let other people take responsibility for their emotions and not try to take responsibility for their emotions, this is why it's so magical, because this is what happens. Now you are controlling things you can control, i.e. your own emotions, and you're not trying to control things you can't control, i.e. somebody else's emotions. So the efforts you're making in your marriage become impactful, become helpful, create progress, create momentum. When you spend all of your time trying to control things you can't control, their emotional experience, it's so frustrating. It just doesn't work. It's like hitting your head up against a brick wall over and over and over. And then all of the effort, all of the time and expense, and all of the that you tried to do doesn't even work because you're spending that time and energy in an arena where you ultimately have no control. So I think really honing in on this and really getting clear on, what I have control over and what I don't have control over emotionally in my relationship can help you focus on your power, can help you focus your attention on where you can make the most difference, can help you focus your attention on where you can really make improvements in your marriage. When I was able to learn this and start taking responsibility for my own emotions and not take responsibility for my husband's emotions, it helped me focus on areas I could change and improve and not focus on areas beyond my control. It helped me allow him to be sad or disappointed and allow him to manage instead of jumping in and trying to change who he was and what he was experiencing and how he was experiencing life. It's really interesting when you think about it that way. When we try to change another's emotions because we think we can or we think it's our fault, we're ultimately saying how you're responding to this situation isn't right. How you're responding to this situation isn't how you should be responding. And it creates some stickiness there because people feel it. They feel like what I'm doing isn't right. What I'm doing isn't what my spouse wants. So what I'm talking about here, this is not small potatoes. Really, this emotional responsibility and realizing what's your emotional responsibility and what somebody else's, it's not small potatoes. It's so much of what makes a relationship healthy and vibrant is to be emotionally responsible, manage your own emotions, and let others manage their own. This is a secret recipe to a relationship full of connection and love. Because again, when you're able to put all of your focus in areas that really help build the relationship, really help foster connection and love and communication, then it's amazing because then you're really able to do so much in that relationship. But when you're putting all of your focus and attention in areas you can't control, it's draining, it's disappointing, it feels like things aren't going anywhere, that you just keep repeating the same things and nothing gets improved. That's all from trying to manage other people's emotions. Okay, if this is ringing true, if you're thinking, it might be what's going on in my mixed faith marriage, we probably should be talking. Reach out to me. I offer a handful of free calls every month. Every month I offer some free calls so you can find out if coaching is what you need to help you make your mixed faith marriage wonderful. If you go to my website, brookeboothcoaching.com, you'll be able to click on my calendar and see when those times are. There aren't many, but there are. Go in and get it now and get yours. You can also message me if that's easier for you, and we can just figure it out as we message each other. But get one of these now. Get on a call with me because what we do is really a valuable process. I let you tell me all about your mixed faith marriage. Okay, that alone is so powerful. Really being able to unload and talk to somebody who has no judgment and who can hold that space for you and really hear you. This is not something to be underestimated. And then what I'll do is I'll point out things like, this is what you want and this is how you can get it. This is where I hear you want to go and this is how you can get there. If you're interested, I'll sort of lay out the math for that to be a reality for you. It's wonderful. I recommend it to anybody. So if you want yours, get it now. In the meantime, start really thinking about your emotional arena. Are you taking more into your responsibility, your own personal responsibility, than is helpful and useful and even something you're able to do? Or are you trying to manage their emotions as well as yours? Or are you just focusing on yours and recognizing they get to do what they get to do? It's a big deal. All right. Wishing you the best.